Taylor Coriell, and I'm the director of Thank You Places. The idea actually wasn't mine. I didn't write the piece. It was a script that a friend brought to me, which was cool. We've collaborated a lot before, and I think, you know, a lot of people, especially in Kentucky, for me, like the gateway drug into film is theater a little bit. And so the film to me was a love letter in some ways to theater and the artists who make it. For us with the piece, because there's the play going on in the background, it kind of gives that driving sense of tension, of conflict. And so, you know, Madison, when she brought me the script, she knew that it was gonna be like one of those old whodunit plays, like a Poirot or like an Agatha Christie kind of thing going on off stage, but she hadn't written the whole play. And so by the time we rehearsed it, we'd found the tone and the pace of the actual action of the film between the two actors. Madison, the writer, and I have a history now of several films that we've made together. We've worked on each other's films. I first AD'd for her, she's firsted for me. She's come on as like a creative producer for my projects. She's coming on for a film I'm shooting in a couple weeks. And we just have a really similar taste in comedy. We just have a really similar taste, and she knows that I like to do rom-coms and buddy comedies, and she and her creative partner asked me to come on because they had this piece that they wanted to do. So the script was already finished. It was just sort of sitting in like a bank of scripts, you know, that you have on your computer when you're a writer. You have like 10, 20 scripts that are all sitting half done on your computer, and so this was one that she brought to me, and she was like, hey, do you want to do this? It's such like a little beloved piece for us, and that's how it came about. As far as being locked to a certain space, I really like as a filmmaker when I'm given a lot of constraints, because I think it gives you a lot of room to be creative. And especially as like an indie filmmaker, you know, the biggest constraint is always budget. But so when you get guardrails like that, I find that for me, it gives you a lot of space to get super duper creative. And because we were lucky enough to have the theater that we shot in, it was an actual theater, that a lot of our crew worked at in other parts of their life. You know, we could really dress the space and like really make it feel, I like films to feel very like lived in and warm and cozy. I like the aesthetic. I love a messy aesthetic. One of my favorite films is the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, because that space feels so lived in. We concentrated on what was going on with the actors, the film actors. And then we really built the play around that. You know, we went back and I knew the cue lines. She had the cue lines written in the script of like, you know, like for example, the scene where he misses his cue to go back on stage. You know, oh, like you could hear on stage that something had gone wrong, and so he runs out. But everything outside of those cue lines wasn't written, and so it was truly, once we knew the pace of what was going on, we timed it out. But those were recorded separately. Yeah, so just the voiceover was recorded separately from when the film was, so we could really time it out and play with hear what we could hear. Yeah. The sound design on this piece was actually really fun. I actually didn't go to film school. I got a degree from UK in opera and classical music. And then I moved to New York after I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I moved to New York to do musical theater, which I did for a long time. And then about maybe 2 years into living in New York, I started writing and producing my own stuff just so that I could have a little bit more of a reel, and then I just really took to it. And when I was little, I wrote and like made my friends do plays with me in our backyard and stuff. But yeah, so I started writing and producing my own stuff that I acted in at that point. And then eventually people started asking me to direct as well, sort of like a natural path. And that's sort of how I got from the theater to film. And now I just do, you know, film and TV full time. I was in a show off Broadway for a year. I was sort of doing them at the same time. And then the last show that I was in for a year, and I left it right before the pandemic started, and then I just kind of never went back to the theater. I never went back to acting, really. I think the more that you can just like hop into another role, it helps inform the other. And I think because I used to be an actor, I do remember the amazing directors that I have gotten to work with as an actor and how they made me feel and how we interacted with each other to get the best performance in service of the whole piece. And so I think I pull from those people all the time. I beg, borrow, and steal like techniques or management styles or stuff from those people because I felt like I did my best work under them, and I feel like that sort of environment fosters good work from people. So, you know, I know how to talk to actors because I was an actor, and different types of actors. You know, it was interesting on this film too. You know, Jono, who plays Grant, and Brian, who plays Jimmy, had very different ways of receiving feedback, of ways they like to be directed, like starkly different, which I'd never really had before. And so I had to learn to be like, okay, like this is how he receives direction best, and this is how he receives direction best. But I think my time as an actor definitely helps inform me as a writer, just as being a writer helps inform me as a director. As a director informs how you write. I think shorts are like, they're their own art form. You know, I know people use them as proof of concepts. I have a film I'm working on right now that I'm planning to use as a proof of concept for a feature, although it started out as a short. But I think shorts are meant to ask a question, and that's the thing I think a lot about when I'm like, is this meant to be a short? Is it meant to be a feature? Is it meant to be a series? What kind of series? What kind of, like, how is the story best told? And for me, a short is meant to ask a question that we leave it up to the audience to answer. So this is my first film that I've shown at the Kentucky, which is so exciting. I've thought for a couple years, ever since I started making my own films, I've been thinking, you know, how much I would love to screen something here, and I hope I bring back more things to Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, I grew up coming to the Wednesday night series, Summer Classics, yes, on Wednesday nights with my family for screening the old movies. And I just remember this was like the cool place to come. Like if the movie you wanted to see was showing here, like always go to the Kentucky. And yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of the inspiration for Thank You Places was from old movies, and a lot of those I saw here. So yeah, I mean, it's had a big influence, and it's a special place to me. I saw Greta Gerwig's Little Women here with my niece, which was really special. So to bring something back here is really cool.